If you're watching this, there's a good chance that you're thinking about a house right now full of belongings and thinking, I don't even know where to start. Planning an estate sale can be overwhelming, especially if you're downsizing, settling an estate, or preparing a house for sale. Maybe it's your parents' home, maybe it's your spouse's, or maybe it's your own home after decades of living there. If you're staring at a house full of stuff and wondering, what do I do with all of this? This video is for you. I'll be sharing estate sale tips, including how to prepare a home for an estate sale, what to do before the sale, how to organize the belongings, and common mistakes to avoid. You're just trying to move forward without making a mistake that you'll regret or creating more stress than you're already under. Estate sales are one of those things that nobody teaches you how to do. You're just expected to know how to do it. So today I'm breaking it all down into simple, manageable steps. Welcome back to At Home with Jody. I'm Jody Whitehurst, a licensed real estate broker in Apex, North Carolina. I help downsizers and empty nesters just like you with all of their buying and selling needs across the entire greater Raleigh area. If this video is helpful to you, please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button to be notified when I put out future videos just like this one. So what is an estate sale and when do you need one? An estate sale is typically used when someone wants to sell most of the contents of a home. This is often due to downsizing, moving into assisted living, or after a loved one passes away. Your problem is that the stuff in the home represents time, memories, responsibility, and a pressure to make the best decisions as to what to do with it. You might be asking yourself questions like, what's worth selling? What should I keep? Am I going to mess this up? If you're looking around thinking, I don't have room for all of this, or most of this needs to go, that's usually when an estate sale makes sense. It's especially helpful when your time, energy, or emotional bandwidth is limited, which is almost always the case. We're all so busy. And just so we're clear, this is not a garage sale with folding tables and handwritten signs. Estate sales are professionally run by professional companies, priced based on market demand, and designed to clear out a home efficiently. You're probably going to want to interview more than one estate sale company. Before you decide how to sell anything, there's one thing I want you to do first, and that is protect yourself emotionally and practically. Before anyone steps foot in the house to view its contents or give you a quote, walk through the house and remove anything that would hurt to lose. And this isn't because somebody would intentionally take it, but once the process starts, things move fast. Remove and set aside anything that you feel is personal or irreplaceable. Photos, paperwork, heirlooms, legal documents, medications. If it would make you say, oh no, if it disappeared, remove it. It does not belong in an estate sale. This step is emotional, but it's also protective and very important. I want you to slow down and take a breath. You don't need to throw things away yet. You don't need to price things yet. And you definitely don't need to make every decision today. Your only job right now is to understand your options. One of the biggest mistakes I see over and over is people throwing away valuable items without realizing it. They start throwing things out because they assume no one would want them. But I can't tell you how many times I've seen people toss things that actually had value. Things like vintage furniture, costume jewelry, tools, kitchenware, holiday decor, old books and records, even random collections. Buyers love these things. Estate sale shoppers are looking for unique items, not perfection. You've probably heard it before, but one person's junk is another person's treasure. When in doubt, just leave it. Let the estate sale professionals decide. Most people I work with hire a professional estate sale company, and honestly, this is for good reason. A reputable estate sale company knows how to price things properly and realistically, market the sale, and manage the crowds. They handle payments, security, and logistics, which is huge. When you're interviewing companies, ask them how they price items, how they advertise, what their fees are, and what happens to anything that doesn't sell. You should feel supported, not rushed or pressured. If something feels off while you're interviewing them, just keep looking. You don't have to deep clean and have everything perfect before you hold an estate sale. People are going to be walking all through the house. This isn't the time for sparkling floors, staged rooms, repainting walls, or replacing carpet. All of that can come later. You're going to want to focus instead on safety and flow. You're going to clear walkways, do some basic dusting and light cleaning, but mainly you're just going to want to create open, accessible rooms. A professional estate sale company will group like items together for the sale. Kitchen items with kitchen items, tools with other tools, linens with linens, you get the picture. Organization helps buyers see value. Plus, when the items are organized more logically, buyers tend to spend more time and spend more money. You can get a jump on this process by grouping similar things together to help the estate sale company price everything correctly. Organization matters for both safety and for sales. Standard estate sales aren't the only way to go. Let's talk about all the different options you have and ways to sell the contents of a home, because there's more than one path. And please note that not every sale is right for every company. I recently was dealing with an estate that had a lot of older furniture that's not as desirable today. Large entertainment units and Queen Anne dining sets that just aren't as popular today. Several of the companies that we contacted didn't feel that this particular sale would fetch enough to warrant them doing the job. We did ultimately find a company that was willing to do it, but you might have to talk to a couple of different companies to find the right fit for you. So option number one is your traditional in-home estate sale. This is what most people think of first. A company comes in, they organize things, they price items, and they hold a multi-day sale inside the home. This works well if a home is full, time isn't extremely tight, and you want the most hands-off option. In Raleigh, Apex, Cary, the area where I work, this is especially common for long-time family homes. Option two is an estate auction. An auction can be a great choice if you have a lot of high value or collectible items. In this case, instead of fixed prices, a minimum is set and then buyers bid on the items. As long as the minimum is met, the item will sell, and a lot of times the bidding scenario can drive prices higher, especially for antiques, collectibles, or specialty items. Auctions can be held in person or online, in the house or at an auction house, and they're often faster, but they're not right for everything. Option three is online estate sales. You may have heard of online estate sale companies like Everything But the House. These companies photograph items, they price them, they list them online, and then sell and ship the items. This can appeal to a much larger geographic area. Honestly, anyone in the world can bid on items. So you're garnering a national and possibly an international audience. This can be a great option if you have unique or designer items, but it's important to understand the fees, the timeline, and what they won't take. Not everything qualifies and not everything sells. Here's something that a lot of people don't think about or don't understand. You don't have to choose just one option. You can pull out high value items for an online sale or an auction, and then do a traditional estate sale for the rest. The best approach is often a mix tailored to your situation. If you need recommendations for estate sale companies, junk removal companies, estate auction companies, or other services local to Cary, Apex, Holly Springs, or other towns in the greater Raleigh area, please reach out. So as we discussed, most people will benefit from hiring a professional estate sale company. What they typically do is price items, stage the home, advertise the sale, run the event, and handle payments. Some tips for choosing the right company: ask how their fees and their pricing work. Each company usually has a base minimum due for sales, which you would have to pay even if sales didn't make that much. Fees are usually a percentage, and this can be anywhere from 25 to 50% or more based on factors such as whether it's a high value sale. In this case, the percentage tends to be lower because the company will make more. Or it might be a higher percentage if it's a hoarder estate, or if there's a lot of trash and junk removal required before the sale. In each case, the company gets to keep a percentage and you keep the rest. Ask them what happens to unsold items, and ask for referrals if you have friends who have used them, or check their online reviews. A good estate sale company should reduce stress, not create more. Let's talk about some mistakes that I see all the time. The hardest one is if you're trying to do this yourself and not use an estate sale company, it's pricing items emotionally. If you were to sell the contents of the house yourself, you would need to price everything. I know that the dining table that hosted decades of Thanksgiving dinners and holds just tremendous memories for you has a lot of value to you, but buyers don't know that. And honestly, it's not important to them. The market decides the value of the items, not the memories. That's why objective third-party companies like estate sale companies are a great way to go. They know items' market value because they deal with it all the time, and they can price the items in a home without the emotional attachment. And plus, you've already taken out the things in the first step that held tremendous emotional attachment to you. Another mistake I see all the time is people wanting to be present for the sale. I always recommend not being there. Watching strangers walk through the home and handle items that might hold memories for you can be surprisingly difficult. It can be emotionally exhausting, and it often leads to regret. Another mistake I see often is trying to sell the house too early. Please don't list the house before the estate sale is done. Home buyers want to see the house, not the stuff that's in it. Clearing, updating, and staging the home first gives you more flexibility and better results later. The last mistake that I see very commonly is trying to do too much yourself. There are so many other things to think about when you're selling a home or trying to settle an estate. Leave cleaning the bulk of the contents out of the home to a professional company. Burnout is real and unnecessary. So what comes after the estate sale? As long as it's successful, you're usually left with a mostly empty home. Most homes are about 80 to 90% cleared. Once the contents are mostly cleared out, the house suddenly feels different. It's lighter and calmer. And that's when the next phase begins. At that point, you're looking at donation pickups, junk removal, a final clean out, minor repairs. And then you can step back and decide what comes next. Are you going to sell the home? Are you going to rent it? Or are you going to keep it? If you decide to sell the home, this is the perfect time to discuss strategy. What repairs make sense and what doesn't, and how to prepare it for sale without overspending. Here in Raleigh, Apex and Carry's strategy matters. Not every home needs renovations. Sometimes it's about knowing what to touch and what not to touch. Watch my video here on low-cost, high ROI home updates. If you're planning an estate sale, on downsizing, or planning on selling a home after an estate sale, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I share practical advice for downsizing, estate situations, and selling a home with less stress. And do me a favor, leave me a comment. Are you planning ahead for an estate sale, or are you in the middle of one right now? And if you're in the Raleigh area and need guidance, I'm always happy to help.